Hi, it's Gordon here with week 43 of 2012, A Year with Mya-Moe Unscripted. And this week the topic is trying to stay successful. And it is catalyzed by an email I received from one of our future owners, Joey. And Joey forwarded me an article that was in the Harvard Business Review. And I'm going to look away from the camera a little bit at the screen from time to time. But the article was by a guy named Greg McEwen, and it is called The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And in the article, he theorizes that success leads to failure. And I'm going to read you his 4 points opening the article. He says, Phase 1, when we really have a clarity of purpose, it leads to success. Phase 2, when we have success, it leads to more options and opportunities. Phase 3, when we have increased options and opportunities, it leads to diffused efforts. Phase 4, diffused efforts undermine the very clarity that led to our success in the first place. And he says, overstating the point in order to make it, success is a catalyst for failure. Well, I couldn't agree more. One of my early mentors when I was in business and venture capital, he said to me that he's never seen a company fail from overfocus. And I think, that's exactly right. I think that focus is everything. And I believe that that here at Mya-Moe, in a sense, we're lucky because we are success-oriented people. We're driven. And I think like most people, without even meaning to, we judge success by growth and by change. And that is, I think, a pretty serious problem when you're running a business. So why are we lucky? We're lucky because we are building out of our 1,000 square foot shop that is on our property. We are a half an hour away from the closest gas station and grocery store, and a half an hour away from any sort of employment base. So if we wanted to grow the company beyond what we are, and today we are 3 full-time people, Shar and Aaron and I building. We're 2 other people that are combined probably a half-time each. Ben Bonham and Carrie Williams, and Ben does all of our templates and tooling and does a lot of our parts, which means raw, rough necks and fretboards, and Carrie is working with Ben doing the parts. And then Aaron's wife, Nicole, makes up string sets and does some of our shipping. And Ben's wife, Heather, nibs frets and does part-time work like that. She also does a lot of the QA work on the things that Ben is working on. I'm tempted to laugh, but I won't right there. So anyway, that's Mya-Moe today. And to grow beyond that would mean that we open up a facility a half an hour away near the town of Hood River or White Salmon, and we hire people to build, and that we set up a larger production facility. And what that means ultimately is that Shar and I are not building, we are managing builders and we are setting up the line. Perhaps eventually there'd be some production manager, but really, it would come down to us. And, the fact is today, while we share building responsibilities with Aaron, Shar and I do 100% of the customer communication, the database work, and the website work. And I just don't think we're comfortable letting go of that. And one of the advantages that we have is that we don't have anybody telling us how big we have to be and why. We get to do this because we want to do it. And the moment that it's not fun, we just won't be doing it anymore. And for us, managing a production facility and setting one up and commuting a half an hour just doesn't sound like much fun. What we're doing today and working hand in hand with Ben and Aaron and Carrie is a lot of fun. So that's why we're lucky. And this year we will produce something very close to 300 ukuleles. And if anything, that's going to go down a little bit. We want to be successful in the long run. We look at this personally as a marathon. And in other words, it's going to go on for a while. And we want to continue to have fun, and we don't want to burn out. And as our production has increased, the amount of customer interaction has increased, and that does take a lot of time. And so we are more than anything likely, and are planning, in fact, to cut back a little bit on our building so that we don't burn out, rather than go the other way. I think we have great clarity of purpose. We know what we're good at. We are wood people. We make acoustic ukuleles. We were approached with an opportunity to take over a line of electric ukuleles, solid body. We declined to do that because we just didn't see where we could add value. Think of last week's video on hand voicing. There's no hand voicing going on a solid body electric ukulele. There's a lot of, for playability, but not the acoustics. And that is what we're good at. And we want to do, and keep doing what we're good at. We now do inlay work on the fretboard, but we don't personally do it. We send it out to Larry Robinson. I think I've talked about him. He literally has written the book on inlay called The Art of Inlay. So we ask Larry to do it, and he does wonderful work, but that's not our thing. And our thing isn't experimenting with a bunch of custom things. We want to continue to get better and better at what we do. And if anything, I see Mya-Moe increasing its focus. We started out, all we built were tenors. We built the resonator and the classic, and quickly added on the lap steel and the 6-string. Within a year, we were building in all sizes, and we were building the tradition. And other than the addition of the pineapple shape and the banjo, we haven't changed. And we have eliminated a couple of those models or variations, the tradition 6-string, for example, in order to increase our focus and increase our clarity. So, Joey, I really appreciate the email. In fact, I got to say I appreciate it from many of you enthusiasts and listeners out there, because we are blessed to have a customer base and an enthusiast base that is as enthusiastic about our future and our success as we are. And actually, I think that if we were to veer off of the success path, we would be told pretty quickly by you that we needed to, get things back in order and stay focused. And I like that. It keeps us honest. Anyway, that's it for this week, and I'll see you next week with another one. Bye-bye.